UFC St. Louis just happened last night, and we're about to play Matchmaker. I'm going to matchmake everyone that I felt was worthy of matchmaking on the card. Most of them are winners from the card, and then I do have some of the losers on the main card. I just would be interested to see in who they're matched up with next. We're going to do this series pretty much every week. I know that there are a number of cards that maybe we don't want to do this for. I don't think we're going to do it next week for the Apex. I might just make a video on social telling you who I want in the main event and who they should fight next. But we'll see. If the card ends up turning out good, there's a lot of really good performances. Maybe I will matchmake. But for now, St. Louis was great. So we're matchmaking a lot of these fighters. I thought it was an awesome card. A lot of stellar performances. We're going to get right into it. So this is the matchmaking for St. Louis. Early prelims, only real people I wanted to match up on this card. I didn't really think of anyone for Veronica Hardy or JJ Aldrich. So what I did was the Jake Hadley and Charles Johnson fight. Granted, Kevin Gisette and Jared Gordon should probably just be rematched against each other. I know that fight got scrapped. I don't really know why, but it did get scrapped. This is the only other fight on the early prelims, or what I would classify as early prelims. We're going to start it right out. Jake Hadley should be fighting. I'm going to tell you where. It's on 304. 304 is in Manchester. He's English. It's in England. He should be fighting on the early prelims of that card. He's still a good prospect. He just drew the short straw of Charles Johnson. He's a tricky fight, and Jake Hadley should fight CJ Vergara. CJ Vergara is a very winnable fight for Jake Hadley. They're pretty similar spots in the rankings. They're both guys that are prospects that are coming off recent losses, or I think CJ Vergara, yeah, he did just come off a recent loss, I think, against that the Kazakhstani guy, not Azat Maxim, but the other one, the one that's actually really good. I think if these two fought each other, it's a pretty good matchup. They're both high volume guys, and I think Jake Hadley's just a better prospect that needs a little bit of easier guys to work up. He's young, he's getting better. He just drew the short straw of Charles Johnson. He has to fight back a little bit, and CJ Vergara is right around the same spot in the rankings. Make this one for 304 on the early prelims. Now, if you don't know who this is Charles Johnson, and I think he should fight David Dvorak. David Dvorak is the 15th ranked flyweight fighter. It is damn time that Charles Johnson gets a shot at the rankings. He gets into very close competitive fights, has beaten a lot of really good prospects. He just beat Jake Hadley. Right before that, he beat the undefeated Azat Maxim. Give him a shot at the rankings. I think he's a really talented fighter, a good wrestler, a good decent in and out striker. This could be a fun matchup against David Dvorak, and they should do it on a fight night in July, main card. I think if you're doing a ranked flyweight fight, I think it should be on the main card unless it's on a pay-per-view. So if you do a low-ranked flyweight card fight like David Dvorak versus Charles Johnson, put it on the main card. Main card opener of a July fight night card. Charles Johnson didn't take too much damage. David Dvorak hasn't fought in God knows when. So I think this is the right matchup to make. Get Charles Johnson in the rankings or let David Dvorak defend his spot. He doesn't get to just sit on a ranking for the rest of his life. The prelims. Yasmin Lucindo is who fought last week, and if you remember, I said she should fight the winner of Ricci versus Pennington, and I thought it was going to be Pennington. I did have Ricci in there because I actually think regardless she should fight Ricci. Ricci's the one with the rankings number next to her. I think that she lost the fight, candidly. Lucindo's ranked 13. Ricci's ranked 11. After that performance, Ricci should not be fighting anyone up. She had a terrible performance and she got a robbery victory. So match these two ladies up on a fight night in October. I don't think it should be on the main card, but I know the UFC, they're going to want this fight on the main card because it's a ranked fight. It's going to be probably an Apex fight night card. But at the end of the day, while Ricci sucks, I think Yasmin Lucindo is really good, and I'm actually entertained when I watch her fight. She does damage. She is a good fighter. So why don't we make this happen? We'll do Yasmin Lucindo versus Tabitha Ricci, UFC Fight Night in October on the main card. Trey Waters kind of won, even though I think he lost against Billy Goff. He should be fighting on the early prelims of a fight night in November. He's still very raw to the game, young, new to the game, has a lot to work on, and he should be fighting the winner of a matchup on UFC 301 in New Jersey. It's Basil Hafez versus Mickey Gall. Whoever wins this fight should get the Trey Waters fight. I think it's going to be Basil Hafez. I think he's just way better than Mickey Gall. I think he's more physical. But if Mickey Gall ends up to win, then he gets the Trey Waters fight. It's a 6'5" fighter versus another fighter here. Billy Goff kind of showed that you can get on the inside and you can do damage to Trey Waters. Now, Trey Waters looked like he was hurt. I think he mentioned he screwed up his foot or his ankle or something in the fight. So he is going to need a little time off. I'm giving him 6 months here. If they do a fight night on the early prelims in November, this would be a good one to have. Do it in front of a crowd. I think Basil Hafez is fun in front of a crowd. And as much as I think Trey Waters does stink, his leg's there to be chewed. He doesn't move his chin and he has no cardio. I do think that he is still a fun fighter that you can put in front of a crowd. So I say do this. Before we get to Esteban Ribovic, Terrence McKinney, I didn't match up because I think he's going to need more time off. Candidly, I don't know what else he can do. It's going to have to be a lower level lightweight guy. Keep building this because he only beats the tomato cans at this point, other than Matt Frivola that he fluked to win against. And Fresiam's not that good. It could be time for PFL. It could be time to just have McKinney go to the PFL. He's a good name. He can win some against some talent over there and then maybe get some confidence and come back to the UFC. But Ribovic knocked him out in 37 seconds. Awesome performance. Ribovic is Latin American. I think he's Chilean. I think it is Chile. If it's not, it's like Argentina. I think he's Argentinian, actually. So he's Argentinian. Put him on UFC 306 against another Latin American, Manuel Torres. These are two guys that I think would absolutely have a firefight. You do this as the early prelim headliner. Esteban Ribovic, Manuel Torres, two really talented fighters. This would really make the card stacked. I want this to happen. This is going to be a good striking battle. Manuel Torres can take it to the ground, but I think that if Esteban Ribovic says, I want a firefight, Manuel Torres is going to oblige, and this is going to be a really fun fight. Two highly touted, good young prospects. So make this happen. UFC 306, early prelims at the Sphere. It's Latin American Fight Night. Make it happen. Need a sip of water. Got to stay hydrated. Chase Hooper, insane performance. Like, insanely good performance against Slava. He doesn't deserve a ranked fighter yet. He called out Paddy Pimblett, but I don't think he's going to be ready to fight Paddy Pimblett for Manchester. Granted, he could, but I think Paddy Pimblett's got his eyes on the rankings after beating Tony Ferguson. I'm willing to think the UFC obliges. So Chase Hooper should fight in September. Gives him 4 months to fully recover. Chase Hooper's main card now on a fight night, not a pay-per-view, but he's main card on a fight night. The main card opener against Rafa Garcia. I think this is a good step up in competition for him. I think it's a guy that is very physically strong and imposing. Doesn't have crazy good striking, has decent grappling, but he's pretty well-rounded. He's just a tough, durable guy. I want to see if Chase Hooper can grapple and just ragdoll this dude. If he can just, use his jiu-jitsu transitions, end up getting a choke, submission, or ground and pound Rafa Garcia, then he really starts to look up at those top outside rankings guys, and this could be a really good fight for him. So I'm going Chase Hooper versus Rafa Garcia. I want to see Chase Hooper keep wrapping up these wins because he's been really, really good. You could do Chase Hooper versus Terrence McKinney too. I don't hate that. That would honestly be a good matchup, but I just don't think Terrence McKinney is going to be ready to fight as soon as Chase Hooper is. He took a brutal knockout. Chase Hooper barely took any damage. I think he got 2 strikes from Slava landed on him. So Chase Hooper versus Rafa Garcia, UFC Fight Night, September, main card opener. Do it in like Texas or something like that. I think it would be great. Now we're on to the main card. Rebels to Spain got literally taken down and grappled the whole time. We don't want to see him fight a grappler. We know he's not going to be a top-level heavyweight. Just put him against strikers for fun matchups. He's not going to be in the UFC for much longer. He's 35 years old. He's got a short window. He's probably going to fight for another 3 or 4 years. Just put him against strikers so we can watch fun fights. Another powerful guy that I think would just throw down with him, Justin Tafa. Justin Tafa also has no grappling. So you have 2 powerful strikers that can do nothing other than throw. Rebels to Spain versus Justin Tafa. UFC's going to Perth in 305 in August. Do it there. 305 prelims. You do Rebels to Spain versus Justin Tafa. That builds some hype and someone's going to sleep. People will look at this fight and go, oh, hell yeah, this is going to be fun. So it'll end in the first round. It'll be fun. We'll see who wins. Probably Rebellis, but who knows? Rebellis has the IQ of a walnut, so we'll see. And Waldo Cortez Acosta, the guy that laid on him. Dude, I hate Waldo Cortez Acosta so much. I don't think he deserves anything. He sucks. He just keeps... he barely beat Arlovsky. He debatably lost that fight, and then he taunted him the whole fight. Then he laid on Rebellis to Spain and showed that Rebellis has no grappling, even though Waldo Cortez Acosta also has no grappling. So he doesn't deserve a shot at the rankings yet. You know who does need a fight is the cardio machine, Shamil Gaziev. No idea what will happen in this fight. Two unranked fat heavyweights with little to no skill fighting against each other. Make it happen. And you can do this in Abu Dhabi on the prelims. They're going to Abu Dhabi on August 3rd. This will be on the Sandhagen-Umar card. Again, I don't think Umar deserves the fight, but Corey accepted it. Whatever. I do think Corey's going to win, but we'll see. Fight night, Abu Dhabi, August 3rd. Waldo Cortez Acosta, Shamil Gaziev. Make it happen. Gaziev is from that Eastern European region, so I think it fits over there well. He's going to have a crowd. He has a crowd no matter where he fights now, just knowing that he has no cardio and he literally quit because he's fat. So it is what it is. Fight night, Abu Dhabi, Waldo Cortez Acosta, Shamil Gaziev. Make it happen. Alex Caceres lost to Sean Woodson, kind of. Very close fight. He's getting older. He's not going back into the rankings anytime soon. He's got a fight to get there. Match him up with a guy that just got a win, David Onama. David Onama deserves a shot at the rankings. Alex Caceres needs to take a look down. David Onama is a very powerful striker, talented fighter. Alex Caceres likes to strike. He's very unorthodox, likes to use his kicks, long punches. This would be a really, really fun fight, so I'm going Alex Caceres versus David Onama. Fight night October on the main card. If you do this, I think it'd be a good main card opener, maybe a feature fight, something like that. Not a co-main or a main event. Neither guys are ranked. They obviously don't deserve it, but feature fight, I'm cool with. Fourth fight, fifth fight, I'm cool with. Even if you do the prelims of a pay-per-view, I'm cool with. But I think a fight night in October, main card opener would be ideal. And the guy who beat him, kind of. Sean Woodson. He wants a shot at the rankings. Why? Because he barely beat Alex Caceres? Nah. You got to beat one more guy that's better than Alex Caceres before you get a shot at the rankings. Dude that just fell out of there. Sadiq Youssef lost to Diego Lopez. Sadiq Youssef's a really good fighter. Sean Woodson needs to prove to me that he's talented enough to be in the top 15 at featherweight. I don't think he is. I think he's criminally overrated. I think he's just long, lanky, and looks like an alien, so people are, like, interested. I think he gets smoked by Youssef, but he's got to fight someone like Youssef before I can believe that he's actually available or able to be in the top of the division. I'm going Sean Woodson, Sadiq Youssef. I would love to see that. Fight night main card in October. You can make this a co-main. I'm totally cool with that. I think it would be a decent firefight. If you do this on the same card as Caceres versus Onama, that'd be interesting. You make this a feature fight. You make this the main card opener. I think that's a good way to do it. So, feature fight, not co-main. I know I said that, but I actually don't want that. Sadiq Youssef versus Sean Woodson. Feature fight on a main card in October. Make it happen. Mateusz Rebecki. God damn it. I thought he was a legit prospect. He is a legit prospect. Just because he faced the ultimate hype train derailer doesn't mean that he's done. Like, he tried to go over the finish too early. He didn't get it, and he gassed out. It is what it is. He should fight the winner of Thiago Moises versus Ludovic Klein. They fight on June, 8th in Louisville or something like that, I think. Or it's, the 15th. They're fighting soon. That's going to be a good fight. The winner of this fight is going to be looking up the rankings for one more fight before they can get into the rankings. As far as I'm concerned, Rebecki wins a fight. He can have a shot at 15 after this. He just drew the short stall with Diego Ferreira, even though it was on short notice. It's a hard way to adjust your training camp. Do this one. UFC 310, which is going to be in December on the prelims. Co-headliner of the prelims. You do another fight after that, and then you get to the main card. I think this is a great way to do it. A great touted prospect here in Mateusz Rebecki. You do it on 310 against another dude with as a name with Thiago Moises, or a fun fight style in Ludovic Klein. I do think it's going to be Moises, but we'll see. I do like Ludovic Klein a lot. I think he's got a really interesting fight style. I just think Thiago Moises is very physically imposing, and I think if he can impose his grappling, he's going to win by submission. Mateusz Rebecki versus Thiago Moises or Ludovic Klein, UFC 310 prelim co-headliner. And the hype train derailer himself, Diego Ferreira. Great performance against Mateusz Rebecki. Showed off a great chin, great cardio for the age of 39. Dude's a problem. And he should fight the winner of Joe Solecki versus Grant Dawson. I think this one happens in Louisville as well. Or no, it happens at 310 as a... it's on the prelims of UFC 301, not 310. I'm sorry. 302 on June 1st. So you have the winner of this, who I think is going to be Grant Dawson. I just think his striking's better than Solecki's, and I think his grappling can neutralize Solecki's. Diego Ferreira versus Grant Dawson or Joe Solecki. UFC Fight Night in December on the main card. Do this one in front of a crowd. I know they've done Austin, Texas in December before. They can do like an Anaheim again, or if they come to Boston, that'd be awesome. Would love to see that. You do a Fight Night main card in December. You have the fourth fight on the card be this. I think it's a great way to do it. So Fight Night main card, Carlos Diego Ferreira versus Joe Solecki or Grant Dawson, who I think is going to be Grant Dawson. And Alonzo Menafield got sparked in 12 seconds. It's what happens when you charge in like a tard. He's got to fight someone, and I think Ryan Spann just losing sets it up perfectly. I think Ryan Spann and Alonzo Menafield have not fought each other yet. They're both low IQ fighters with a lot of power. Would love to see how this happens. I think it would just be a fun, interesting fight. Do this one on the UFC 309 prelim headliner. 309 is going to be in November at MSG. I think this is the prelim headliner for 309. It's going to be a great night of fights. Alonzo Menafield likes to throw down. Ryan Spann likes to throw down. Make it happen. Ryan Spann, Alonzo Menafield, 309 prelim headliner. And if you watched the matchmaking video last week, you know who Carlos Olberg's fighting. They're going to Perth on 305. He fought in 12 seconds and won in 12 seconds. He took no damage. He's ready to fight. A dude that also had a 2-minute fight last week was Anthony Smith. This is a good matchup. Number 10 and number 11 ranked at light heavyweight. Anthony Smith's going to want a big name matchup. Carlos Olberg in, is a big name. Oops, sorry. Carlos Olberg is a big name, especially when you go to Perth. This is the way to do it, man. It really is. Number 11, number 10, UFC 305, Perth. Open up the main card with it. Make it the fourth fight. Either or. It's going to be sick. Make this one happen. Nursultan Ruzaboyev. I like the guy. I think he's honestly just a good dude. He got the Joaquin Buckley card, and Joaquin Buckley kind of, I don't want to say fraud checked him, but really exposed that he doesn't have much takedown defense. Maybe he did turn around too quick, but same amount of time as Joaquin Buckley. So regardless, Ruzaboyev will be back. I do think he's a talented fighter. I don't think he was fully prepared for Buckley. He should fight. The winner of Chaos Williams versus Carlston Harris. I don't know why that fight is a co-main event next weekend, but it's an Apex card, so you know they're going to throw shit at you. I think the winner of this is probably going to be, and I'm picking underdog, Carlston Harris, I think. If you do this fight, the winner can fight Ruzaboyev at the 308 prelims. UFC 308 is in Abu Dhabi on October 26th. It's a good prelim card. Like, you can do it as, the prelim co-headliner. Chaos Williams or Carlston Harris would be a good matchup for Ruzaboyev. Someone's going to sleep regardless. It's going to be fun. Make it happen. Uzbekistan, he's going to have a lot of fans there in Abu Dhabi. I think it's a good place to put him. Joaquin Buckley stole the show in St. Louis, deserves a higher ranked fighter. You heard me talk about it in my predictions and breakdown. He said it in the, not the post-fight interview, but after in the, when he was talking to like Alan Joban and Dean Thomas, all those guys. He threw out the name Gilbert Burns. I love it. Gilbert Burns just lost to Jack Della Maddalena. He needs to look down in the rankings, and he's always down for a war. Joaquin Buckley's down for a war. He deserves a shot up the rankings after taking on unranked Nursultan Ruzaboyev on short notice. Do this on the 307 main card. We don't know where 307 is going to be yet. We do know roughly when it's going to be. It's in late September, early October. If you do this on the main card, feature fight, this is going to sell tickets. Joaquin Buckley can sell tickets now. Gilbert Burns sells tickets. He has for a while now. This is a good ranked welterweight matchup. Make it happen. UFC 307, Gilbert Burns versus Joaquin Buckley. Rodrigo Nascimento was number 15. He got a shot up at number 12, Derek Lewis, and lost, got sparked, did not look impressive, looked fat and overweight as always. He has to fight down a guy that I think deserves a shot at 15, Mick Parkin. Call me crazy. I actually think Mick Parkin has like weird technique for a heavyweight, good boxing, good takedown defense, uses his low kicks well. I think he is a perennial number 15 heavyweight. They're going to Manchester soon. UFC 304 prelims. Make it happen. Rodrigo Nascimento, Mick Parkin. I will not accept anything else. I don't care Rodrigo Nascimento at all. He's got to fight down. Mick Parkin should fight up. Make it happen. Derek Lewis. My Pookie Bear again. What a performance. Now, I'm going to tell you where he's fighting first. It's UFC 309. My boy wants some time off. Give him some time off, all right? He's going to fight at MSG on the main card. It's going to help sell out Madison Square Garden. And he's going to fight the guy that we all know he should have fought ages ago. Now is the right time. Jairzinho Rosenstruik. If you have anyone else for Derek Lewis, then you're going crazy. He should have fought Rosenstruik like 3 fights ago. Doesn't matter. It's going to happen now. Make this one happen. Derek Lewis, Jairzinho Rosenstruik, Madison Square Garden. Feature fight, opener, 4th fight, somewhere on the main card that's not the co-main or the main. Make it happen. This is the matchmaking for UFC St. Louis post-fight. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, just be a schmuck and write a shitty comment like a bunch of these other fucking people are doing.